So Joe Rogan announced he is making a deal with Spotify. The show will become available on Spotify globally starting around September 1st. That's in a few months.
Are they going to do it in Spanish?
No. I didn't even know the Rogan podcast wasn't available on Spotify. That's his first mistake, not being there in the first place. But the show...
Oh, it wasn't available on Spotify.
It was not available on Spotify
that.
until just this week. That 55-second clip where he was like kind of introducing it was the first thing he put on Spotify, saying it's coming in...
Oh, it's going to come. Sorry.
It's coming in September. So the show will be available on Spotify globally starting on September 1st. Starting in sometime in 2021, it'll be exclusive to Spotify. Now, the deal is estimated to be around a $100 million deal. Rogan said last year that his show reached around 190 million downloads per month.
Oh, $100 million.
Yeah. So he got paid.
Yeah, he got...
Motherfucker.
He got paid.
So, Nash, what are your initial thoughts on this whole deal?
Good for him. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I will say though, I guess probably if I wouldn't say I'm a frequent listener. I've listened to a bunch of his stuff. But I've always listened to it on YouTube. Like,
so YouTube will still be there. Like right now, the whole shows are on YouTube, but starting in September and early next year, the full shows are going to be gone. It's going to be just the clips. The clips are staying.
Okay.
Which is huge. Because I think, honestly, that is how a lot of people consume his content. They will either watch the clips, only the clips, or the clips and then the full podcast, or like me, a loyalist, listen to the full podcast, whether it's Tony Hawk or Kevin Hart or Dr. Rhonda Patrick or Joey Coco Diaz.
No, that's really accurate, because when I've listened to him, it's usually because I saw a clip and then I was like, all right, I'm interested in listening to the whole thing with this person. Because he has on the widest variety of people.
Yeah.
And so...
Which is amazing. Which is my favorite part about it.
I'm not always interested in what, some people have to say.
I skipped the fight companions. I skipped those. That's fair. I've gotten bored and tired of his UFC podcasts. But that's fine.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
You lost one, Joe.
You lost one.
You're losing them.
But for me... I'm happy for the man. I'm glad he got paid. If there's anyone who deserves a deal like this, it is the guy from Fear Factor.
It is the guy that made podcasting a thing.
He wouldn't say that, but he's the one who really...
Oh, of course he would. He's so humble and such a perfect human.
Well, here's the thing.
Why don't you kiss him already?
Mwah, mwah, Joe. Mwah, 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 mwah. He's been doing this for over 10 years. Right, he is approaching 1,500 episodes, which is absolutely startling. On the Ambiguous Podcast Solutions, King's Wings podcast, my other show is approaching 200 episodes in just a few weeks. A little shout out to my friends over there. Donate to us. But my thing is with podcasting, my whole persona, my whole everything around podcasting is that exclusivity is a mistake. I think this is an old world media trying to infuse itself into a new media format.
Well, that's just how you control the revenue stream.
Yeah. It's good for, $100 million is, don't get me wrong, a hefty sum.
I do a lot for Spotify if they gave me $100 million.
Right? So if there's anyone who could pull a deal off like this, it is Joe. It is his audience, because a lot of his audience is going to be loyal and follow over. Like, for example, I listen to all of my podcasts on Stitcher. All of them. So
you should listen to them at ambiguouspodcastsolutions.com. It's a great resource for podcasts.
I should, but once our app is made, I will. But it's not going to be available on Stitcher anymore. So I'm going to have to go over and switch to Spotify, which isn't really end all be all that big of a deal.
Woe is me.
Right? I know. But like as a listener, as a fan, as someone who's been there since episode 300, like that is a pretty big deal for me, because
it is inconvenient. Yeah,
it's inconvenient.
Yeah,
is what it is. But in having all my podcasts in one place is so refreshing. And Spotify does a very poor job of letting you know when a new show is released. Like Spotify is doing great things. They're putting a big focus, a big core values around podcasting, which is good for them. Great business.
Yeah.
But some of their things, it still needs to be ironed out. Some of their things isn't as good as it should be. I'm hoping by 2021 it is, but I would love just if it showed up in my feed that a new show was there. If I can make a playlist, if it was there.
I think if you go to the home, do you spend a lot of time on the homepage?
No, I use everything on my app on the phone. And like it might pop up, but podcasting is a big part of my app. I use Spotify for music.
Well, because I think when you open the app, God, now we're getting kind of a little too technical, but straight up, like,
let's take a look.
When you open the app, I'm pretty sure it doesn't take you straight to like the feed. I think it takes you to your stuff or what you were last listening to.
So I just opened Spotify. It took me right to my homepage. Good evening. It says recent.
Oh, okay.
So if anything, I just gotta scroll down a little bit. New podcast episodes. All right, so it is there. I just gotta scroll down a little bit. New top podcast. All right, so it is there. But I just like Stitcher's interface a lot better, and it is inconvenient for me. But that's just me being bitchy. My main issue is Spotify got an amazing deal.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
In the long run, Spotify is going to make way more money off of this. And this is, and again, someone like Joe Rogan, he can sustain himself to the point where he's not changing anything in the show.
Yeah.
He's not changing content. Like, he's going to get more ad support, but I doubt he's going to put ads in the middle of the show like he's never done. He puts it all in the first 10 minutes.
I think I heard, was it Gary?
Gary V?
Gary V, yeah. I think he was essentially saying how he's becoming Howard Stern 2.0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. He's already there. But it's not even saying Joe Rogan sold out. Joe Rogan did a deal that was best for him. My concern is what this means moving forward for the podcast industry. Because again, exclusivity is not a real thing when it comes to podcasts because your product is free. A podcast is free, which means it benefits going everywhere because it's accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
As opposed to a Netflix one, which you got to pay for it, and exclusivity is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, but this is it's kind of what everybody does. It's really with sort of anything if you want to make money like this. If you want to create something and make money, you start off by being able to give it to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Just to get your name out so people know who you are. And you want everybody to see it and acknowledge, wow, what you do is really incredible. So then you can be exclusive with the person you want to be exclusive with. Like, because not only did he make $100 million, he gets to keep doing what he does without being restricted by Spotify, which is incredible.
Right. Which is another issue moving forward. I think you're going to see a lot of smaller podcasts.
Definitely.
That are going to sell out in the long run. They are going to get fucked over.
They're going to get boned. No, because they're probably going to sell out what they do for advertising and stuff because they're not in that position.
Not even that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Rogan, so if you get 99 million downloads in a month, once that moves, I wouldn't be surprised if that bumps down to like 150. That's just a number I'm throwing out. But I bet his listenership is going to go down for a little bit before it goes back up.
Yeah, no, that would make sense because some people are going to be pissed off because they're going to see it as selling out, which that's a big thing, a really big difference because I wouldn't say this is selling out. It's selling out. It's selling out if you're compromising what you're doing.
Yeah.
He's not. He's doing the exact same thing as he always did, and he's getting paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the dream for everybody.
Yeah.
That's like listen to the man still on Spotify.
This is a big move. This is very, very big, and it has me a little bit concerned for the future. But for now, I think this is great for Joe. I think it's great for Spotify. I'm very happy for the man. I will switch over. I will inconvenience myself and still listen because I love the guy. I love his content and everything he does. I follow.
And that's another thing too. Like you use Spotify, right?
I use Spotify for music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I use Spotify. There's one podcast I listen to on Spotify. Am I allowed to say it?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, The Dollop. I love it. It's hilarious. History and comedy. It's what I'm about. So it's pretty convenient. But yeah, I mean, I'm not probably as much of an extensive user as you are, seeing as how you started listening to him in the early phases of his podcasting career.
2013. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's a great thing. And I definitely do assume that we're going to see a small decline in the listeners. But I think in the end, we'll probably see even more people.
Oh yeah, this is not going to be the first $100 million deal. Yeah. A lot of people are going to start making these exclusive deals, and that's what I'm big concerned about because this is not going to benefit the podcasters unless they are they have a dick big enough as Joe Rogan's.
Yeah.
Right?
And his is pretty big.
And this is not going to benefit the consumer. This is not going to benefit the listeners. This is going to benefit the companies who buy them.
Yeah.
And that is a big concern to me.
Yeah, because I get that. Some people that, because a lot of people make the decision, all right, am I going to use Apple Music, SoundCloud Premium, or Spotify?
Mm-hmm.
And, you may not have Spotify. It's like, how many people do you think are going to buy Spotify just to hear Joe Rogan? Well, we're going to find out. But I assume that number is going to be less than...
It's going to be less than they anticipate.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's easy to say he has all these listeners because it's available in all these different places.
And that's a big thing, too, because other podcasters might see that as, okay, I need to be exclusive. It's like, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. You don't at all.
It works better if you're not.
Because he's in the position, he's quite literally the podcaster.
He's the number one.
So for him to do this makes perfect sense. And he got literally the deal of the lifetime. That is an insane number with an insane artistic freedom. And every other podcast below it, no matter how successful they are, they're not number one. And he is number one. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not there yet, you're not in a position similar to his, you need to be reaching out to everybody until you are in that position to decide that you're going to be able to do what exactly you're doing right now and make that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be selective in it.
Mm-hmm. Podcasts are made to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like right now it is the Wild West of entertainment. And there is no set clear path to success.
You kill my brother. Sorry, what were you saying?
Fuck yourself. There is no clear path to success, which we are also trying to form our own. But like, if anyone signed on to our network on ambiguouspodcastsolutions.com, we would not have you be exclusive.
Shameless plug.
I would never want you to be exclusive. I want you to be everywhere, including our website, your own website, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, because do it for free. Like Joe Rogan could have been on Spotify for free.
Yeah.
Like that's what confuses me.
Or yeah, he could have taken the standard deal or whatever that I think it's like Spotify takes 15 or 20%, something like that, depending on who you are and if you have lawyers to talk about it and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is a whole partner with Spotify. I mean, you can upload it there for free, but you don't really get anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's kind of like on your own, which is fine. We do, yeah. Yeah, that's what we do.
We were on Spotify well before Joe.
Yeah, right? I've been on Spotify for at least a year before Mr. Rogan. But
he's stealing our ideas again.
Son of a bitch. But Joe, I'm happy for you. But selfishly,
he doesn't care.
You broke my heart. We're on the horn every Wednesday. I'm gonna talk to him about it.
Dude, I'm gonna get on the horn with Joe and I'm gonna tell him congratulations.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we're gonna move on.
Dude, did you follow his Instagram?
Yeah, I do.
I love his Instagram because it's every week it's at least 2 pictures of his dog. And then 5 pictures of him eating food.
Yeah, him in the gym.
He's the most stereotypical Instagram user ever, and I think it's hilarious because then he'll throw out the ones that are just out of there where he just goes on a long rant
about Joe Biden's cognitive decline.
Yeah, about just great whatever's in his mind, man. He just goes off on it
Dude,
once a week.
I just love that. As soon as the government released the alien footage. I wonder how many millions of people went to Joe Rogan to see what he's gonna say about it. I'm not gonna lie,
No,
I was looking for it on the YouTube clips specifically for it.
That's true. That's a funny thing. Because I think he did make a rant about that.
He probably did.
I think he did. No, he definitely did. I read that one where he's crazy how in these times of
aliens are released and no one gives a fuck,
and nobody even pays attention to this. It's just weird, all that stuff.
Yeah. He likes pointing out the fallacies and the weirdness of the world we live in today, which is really why I fell in love with this content to begin with. But from there on,
don't we all?
From content I love to content I cannot fucking stand. We're talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine.